Welcome to the TrueRotarian Podcast. This podcast is specially designed for all the true Rotarians by a true Rotarian. Hello and welcome to TrueRotarian Podcast, a podcast where we bring in stories that help the underprivileged members of a society. We bring in various personalities from different walks of life who are helping make a strong community. I'm your host, AKS Rotarian Bhasin, and today we will explore a subject that lies at the heart of every strong nation: trust in judicial system. We often talk about education, healthcare, or economic growth. But the silent pillar that binds every democracy is the justice system. Fair, timely, and accessible justice for every citizen, especially the weakest and the most vulnerable. Ladies and gentlemen, today's conversation is not about politics, controversies, or the current state of affairs. Instead, our entire focus is on future. What can we do to create a judicial system where every person, even the lowest strata of our society, has full faith? What steps can strengthen our institution and build a stronger, safer, and more confident India? How can justice become a tool for nation building and community empowerment? To guide us on this very important topic, we have with us a very distinguished guest, Mr. Vinay Bhasin, one of India's senior-most Supreme Court advocates, an inspiring legal mind with decades of experience, and someone who deeply understands how strong judiciary can strengthen a nation and empower communities. Well, thank you so much, Bhasin sir. Welcome to Rotarian Podcast.
I must congratulate you first, before I go on the topic which you have chosen for me, that I have seen your number of podcasts and I'm really very proud of you and you're doing a fantastic job. And I am also thankful to you to have invited me for this talk.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Actually, this podcast was started almost 7 months ago when I was a director of fundraising of District 3011. On account of various reasons, we could not have a seminar on fundraising. And I said, as a responsible Rotarian, when I've got a position of director of fundraising, I must share my thoughts and the methods on how funds can be raised for a project being organized by Rotary. So that was first podcast. It went very well. And thereafter I said, this is one of the ways of giving back to the society. Let people know what kind of projects Rotary is doing and what kind of experience is available in the country to all of us to sort of help change the society, help the underprivileged, so that if the community is strong, the society is strong, nation will be strong.
Yeah, to take it forward what you have said and to apply it to myself, let me tell you that I have also started, giving pro bono legal advice. I am not now appearing in the court on charge cases, but I do help the people who really need it, and it really gives me the most pleasure when I do this, because, whatever I have earned, name, money, everything, in a small way, I want to give it back to the society also, which I am doing now. This is what my job is today.
That's wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, before we dive into our subject for the day, if any of you has a concern with regard to judiciary, you are most welcome to talk to Vinay Bhai and he'll be more than happy to assist you. So let's come to the topic straight away. India has one of the world's most respected judicial tradition. In your decades of experience, what are the key steps that can lead us towards a more robust, credible, efficient, and people-friendly judicial system?
Judiciary is the third pillar of our democracy. and I rated the most important pillar of democracy, which controls and molds the other two pillars also. So it is definitely, as you very rightly said, that it is the most important aspect that we must have the best of judiciary. That's when we talk about the best of judiciary, what we mean is A, that the people must have faith in that judiciary. When they come to court, they must think and they are convinced that they will get justice. If that is a criteria which is kept in the mind of the people, I think that is the biggest victory of the judiciary. Therefore, it depends on our judicial system, our judges, our lawyers who have been involved, because this is, these are the three pillars who are involved in the judicial system. As far as now this concern, we have produced eminent judges, fearless judges who have delivered excellent judgments which have been well respected and read all over the world. And that tradition has to be kept going. If there is some compromise in the judicial system, then I think we lose everything. Therefore, what I feel is that the quality of judges, quality of lawyers is most important. And if they can work together very sincerely, independently, I think we can produce still the best results.
Wow. Well, on these basic principles, let's discuss everything positively, respectfully, and constructively. How does a strong and independent judiciary contribute to nation building?
As I said, I take it a little forward that if judiciary is totally independent, fearless, I think everything is done. If these two aspects are not there, then when I sit in the chair as a judge, I will do my best, what to the best of my capability, my capacity, I will deliver that judgment. Whether it is good or bad, that depends, that makes no difference at all. So long it is a bona fide, it's a genuine and a good judgment, that is the crux, which is required in any judgment and all that. So if there is no compromising, if I deliver a judgment which according to my thought is the right judgment, that is the thing, which is required. You should not come under, as a judge, pressure either from the executive, politicians, or from anybody whatsoever, whether your relations, whether your friends, whether executive and all that, has to be taken away while you are delivering a judgment, and that will give a confidence to the public at large, and then that is a win-win situation.
That means an independent judiciary is a must.
Absolutely
to
must.
Build a strong nation.
Absolutely. Because if you, supposing I am a litigant, I go to court and I feel that I produce my facts, my lawyer through my lawyer, facts and case and all that. And then general situation is that I have a very good case. And as per the legal opinion also of the lawyers and that they are good. But if I get a judgment for certain extraneous reasons, which is against me, that hurts me the most. And therefore that message is passed on to the other, because today we have an independent press, we have a social media and all that, and these all judgments are subject to scrutiny by all the people. So once they scrutinize the judgment, and if they come out with certain aspects, which are extraneous, which were not, fitting to the case, then there is a problem.
What are the essential quality of justice system that earns a trust from every citizen, especially the poorest?
No, poorest is the maximum sufferer. If you are a money people, industrialist, or having good resources and all that, you hire a good lawyer, and the lawyers then deliver. I being a lawyer, I know that how the lawyers conduct themselves. I think they do their best. They put in, if the lawyers are there, who put in their best efforts and put in the case law and all everything before the court. That is what the judgment position is for the lawyer. Lawyer is not responsible for the judgment. Judgment is in the hands of a judge. Where I am satisfied that I have put in my best. That is what is required. And therefore, what as a lawyer I will say that we should give some, criteria, something to the weaker section. If, I charge a very high fee from my clients who are worthy paying and all that, I think that criteria should not be for the weaker section who are not in a position. And therefore, I started saying in the
pro bono, that's what you said.
It can be pro bono, it can be reduce in fees and reduce in resources, whatever. You are helpful. Sometimes, I give you one example. In my case, a client came to me and he narrated me the case and all that. And then I said, okay, good. And I knew that fellow very well. So I said, okay, I will take up your case. Then while going, he said, what is the fees? I said, I will not charge you fees. He said, no, I have to give you fees. Without fees, I will not. I said, look, you know why I am not charging you? Because you can't afford my fees, and I will not reduce my fees. Therefore, the only compromise which I thought is, I will not charge you fees. And that case I won, and till date that fellow comes and, touches my feet and all.
That's so wonderful. Really satisfying. That means you are, in your own way, giving back to the society.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not a Rotarian, but you are following the principles of service above self.
I very strongly believe in. You don't know. I'm really doing it today. This only. I am not having any case or any opinion where I charge fees.
Oh.
I give, and there are a lot of people who keep coming to me for my opinions, for my advice. Lawyers come to me for advice. I do it, and I feel very happy about it.
You must join Rotary now. Sir, is trust in the judiciary directly linked to the economic growth and social stability?
I'll say yes also and no also. Yes, without economic, there is nothing which can work. So definitely it has, but it's not solely on depend. It again depends on the quality of your system. If the system is working very well, and if you are contributing to the system sincerely, whether as a judge or whether as a lawyer, then that is the position which can definitely help you in achieving the goal. So I find our system is definitely deficient now. It is not on the rise. There are so many flaws in that. The judiciary itself is required to look into it. Lawyers are required to look into it. Parliament is required to look into it. And in consultation with each other, we must bring some more reforms. That is what is the need of it.
Wow, that's so wonderful. That means it's a collective responsibility and duty of all the verticals that we have with us in order to move forward to Viksit Bharat by 2047. We must have a strong independent judiciary. I'm sure they're doing a great job, but if they are strong, we can make it stronger, right? And more transparent. If they are transparent, we can make it more transparent so that people have total faith and trust.
Yeah, things may be all right. It's not only, that's very well said thing that justice is not only done, it is seen to be done. So that seeming is very much required. People must get a proper message that yes, justice system is working very well. I am getting justice. If I am in problem, if I go to court, I will get justice. If that aspect is missing, then we are failing.
True. To ensure justice accessible to a common citizen, what steps can be taken by the judicial system? You've already taken a step like you're giving free advice and everything. What does this judicial system do more so that they are more approachable for ordinary people? Now, why I'm saying this? One hears, now you just also mentioned that if you have a very senior lawyer and he charges a huge amount of fees, obviously his way of presenting his case gets more impactful in terms of getting a quicker judgment, whereas an ordinary citizen who cannot afford a senior lawyer, he probably gets dates, and I've also heard stories, sort of 7 years have passed, but it is not listed. Now, this is where the common man gets hurt.
Yeah, there where I was mentioning the system. There are certain flaws in the system, as you said, as far as the common man or a weaker section is concerned. I think we as a lawyers, particularly the lawyers who are doing very well and who are very versed and charging good fees, some concession should be given by them to this weaker section also. They should encourage and take up their cases also. I think it will give them also a big boost in the eyes of the public. That look, he's a very famous big lawyer and all that, he's doing a very small case. So a duty passed upon to the lawyers also to perform this, to build a faith in a common man. And this is one of the steps, which can definitely. Number two, the judges can play a major role in doing this, providing a legal aid. A legal aid, should be constructive. It should be positive. It's not only for the sake of a lawyer is provided. No. The legal aid should be provided to a person with a competent lawyer who can deliver goods and not, for the sake of the lawyers and all that. And the lawyers, as I have said so, have also a duty upon them that they must do justice, at least to a case where they are doing pro bono. It should not be taken, I am not getting fees in this and this is just I have to do a formality. No, if left it to me, I'll put more, labor in that case than on a paid case.
Wow, that means from a lawyer's side, yes, you're willing to help the society by not charging them or reduce rates or whatever you're saying. But there also be, according to me, there also has to be a method or a system where cases of weaker section of the society should also get priority. Now, why I'm saying this? Let me give you an example. I was, there is a gift of life, a vertical in Rotary, and that takes care of children who are born with heart ailment, young children. So I got a call from one of the Rotarians, and with whom I had done a podcast on gift of life. He said, Hemanji, you must come to Safdarjung Hospital, which in the Heart Command Center, they have a small vertical which talks about only NGOs. Now, Safdarjung Hospital, when these Rotarians came to know this child, 7-month-old, is got a hole in the heart. One phone call was made to HMP Singh, he made a call, and within a month, the child was done open heart surgery. And that day when I went, believe you, I felt so happy. That means even the hospitals are giving services free of cost to the underprivileged children. Vinay, you will be surprised, his parents would have spent at least 4.5 to 5 lakhs of rupees in treating the child, and he would have waited. He would have waited quite a lot. But Rotary comes in, and we knew that there is a cell within Heart Command Center which takes care of NGOs causes, and it was done free of cost. Similarly, according to me, in the judiciary also, there should be something for the underprivileged, society, the cases, so that those people who come from villages, small case, wait for 10 years or 15 years, something should be done about that. That's what my Rotary teaches me.
Deviating from the subject, because you raised about this Rotary, let me give you one example. My wife was a doctor. She was an All India Institute of Medical Sciences. She had created a fund which called a Poor Fund, which is still in existence. She is retired now. It's about 16 years she is retired. But that fund is absolutely, totally funded by me and my wife. I don't donate anywhere else. We donate only that fund. And there is a social service person there who looks after this. And a message has been given in the hospital that any needy person, if needs, whether it's a wheelchair, whether it's a medicines or anything and all that, can come to her and explain, if this is my need and I can't afford it, that fund is used for that.
Excellent.
That fund is till date That is, and we, whether it's my wedding anniversary, birthdays, or this, that, all money goes there. I don't donate anywhere else, only in that fund.
Excellent. Wow. So you are a true Rotarian. Now, this is exactly the reason why we were saying that, there should be some simplification of legal process where a common man also feels justice is also for me, and not only for those who can afford expensive lawyers.
It is a common exercise, No one single body can achieve this. Judges, lawyers, litigants also involved in this. Now, when we say that, we have a legal aid, we provide a lawyer. I think we should have also take into consideration that the lawyers and the upcoming lawyers, they are also in difficulty. It's very difficult to manage in the system. So when they are in the beginning of this and they are assigned, they should be paid well by the government itself. Because today, you see, I also see, other lawyers see how much lawyers are charging and all that. If I get a pittance and all that, then I am disheartened and I will not put in, that kind of efforts in that. I say, okay, that's finished now. So that is not number two. The biggest litigant in the country is the government. Whether it's a central government or a state government. If, some serious thought is given to that when there is a problem with the government, and if there is an independent mind applied on that problem, and they find, yes, it should be taken care of there itself, resolved it, not allowed to come to court at all. If that is done, you will see, your next question may be about the pendency, where the pendency will go down.
I was about to ask you that there are 5 crore cases which are pending.
That's what I say. The biggest litigant is the government. That has to be taken care of. Number of judges increase, that's not going to help you
resolve the issue.
Yes, not going to help you to resolve the issue. It has something very serious has to be done. Now another thing I tell you about that litigation is, there is one party who wins, one party loses. So there is not 100% win-win. So one is happy, one is unhappy, there is appeal. Then there is next appeal, you go up to Supreme Court. Nowadays Supreme Court also goes into review their own judgments and all that. So there is no end to it now.
That's right.
What I say, a bad settlement is better than a successful lawsuit. Why do I say this? That supposing if you are expecting that you will get 100 rupees, but if you can settle it at about 80 or 90 rupees, please settle it. Because here, both the parties are win-win. There is no agreement between two of them. They are friends then. And litigation comes to an immediately. So that is a few thoughts which have to be taken into
It's a very important topic you're talking about. In case government of India or state government's cases are resolved through arbitration or any other method, the total pendency will come down drastically.
Now arbitrations, there is better mediation. Now mediation is, getting popular and popular. Very frankly speaking, people are losing faith in courts for two reasons. A, they are very expensive. B, time consuming. We do not know if I start a case whether my grandson will also succeed in that or not. Therefore, people have realized that instead of going to courts, let's sit across that. There has to be a third party, which is a mediator, sits there, talks to both of them, tries to tell you what is your merits of the case, tries to the other party merits of the case, at the same time also gives you advice, doesn't matter, it is better if you settle on these terms, it is good. Similarly, and many people in today's thinking believe that mediation is a better process and we can achieve positive results there instead of going to court. So that is another factor where one has to work very, very hard and seriously and achieve this result.
Wow, this is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Now, one is to change the system, have, arbitration or a mediation, we can solve that. Another thing which comes in today's day and age, the part of the role of technology, digital courts and online systems can they play an important role in delivering a justice?
Yeah, it's very, very important. I tell you, when I started my practice, we used to read the commentary on the subject. In the commentary, we used to, mark the citations of those cases which you fit into the facts of my case. Then I used to take out those judgments, read those judgments, and try to apply on my facts and present it to the court and all that. So I had maintained a register where I used to put down those cases, citations, and the case law on which this case is built. So that was a very tedious job. But today, it is a push button and you get everything on the screen. You get judgment, you get opinion, you get everything on that. So technology has really played a role, and which is, even for writing judgments, there are technology, there, which helps the judges. Oh, absolutely. And that's what I say, that technology has really helped in this, provided you want to utilize it, you want to use it in a better way.
That means there is one way of arbitration, mediation, solve the cases. That is one way. Second is use of technology.
Yeah.
That means if we do these two things to start with, the pendency will come down drastically.
I can't say pendency, seeing, here, because it has to be, as I say, the more and more people have started having faith in mediation. I am not talking of arbitration. Let me tell you, arbitration is more expensive than the court.
Is that right?
Yes, because, nowadays the arbitrators' fees are so high you can't imagine. And they have worked out the method by which, in a day they treat it as 2 hearings and all that. Lawyers are very expensive. So arbitration, if the arbitrators are good, strict, genuine, yes. But I'm sorry, that's not the case. Therefore, I will say that let's concentrate more on mediation. Arbitration, yes, it is a big people's game, let them play that, but general public should be more involved in mediation than arbitration.
In the Western countries, also they have a similar issue, but there one doesn't talk about a case pending for the last 30 years, 40 years. It is decided in a time-bound manner. This is what one hears. I mean, I do not know how far it's true. What do you have to say on this?
Now, I tell you another case that people came that, this is a case, but it has to be done in the court and all that. The case was very hopeless. Told them, yes, you have no case, you will not stand anywhere. He said, no, I have not come here to win. Please suggest me a lawyer who can prolong it, who can prolong the case and keep on going. So this is what you are saying, is that there are, few in system. As I said, system is such where you can get all loopholes, you can get every kind of solution for your problem where you are faced and all that. So unless system is improved, I think the government has to also very seriously think about all these aspects, including now there is a lot of controversy going on about the method of appointment of judges,
Yes.
etc., and all that. So all things that I don't want to comment on that, whether the system is good or bad. Earlier system was where the judges used to be appointed by the government. Now the judges are appointed by themselves. There is a great, on this, controversy that is nowhere in the world where the judges appoint themselves. So these are all aspects which have to be looked into seriously, and solutions have to be found.
One keeps hearing about reforms in the judiciary. I think these are one of those things that are going to be covered once the government or the people who matter are going to talk about reforms. I'm sure they're going to take care of these aspects.
We were talking, I was just telling you, there were earlier system was where the judges were appointed by the government. Now the judges are appointed by the collegium, which is in the court, whether it's Supreme Court or High Court. In every system, you can find faults. Whether it is very difficult for me to tell you today whether earlier system where the government used to appoint judges was better or whether the present system is better and all that. Because you find both ways things not working. So it is, there are certain things in place, how you use them, that is more material. Otherwise, this misuse can be done anywhere. So if you are misusing the system, you can do it very easily and all that. So,
That means the entire thing has to be, procedures have to be simple, more transparent, and less intimidating. If that comes in the when we talk about reforms in the judiciary or anything else, I'm sure it will help the country to a large extent.
now, procedure, first thing is, there are pleadings in the court, then there is a judgment after arguments by the court. In good old days, the judgment used to be very small. 1 page, 3 page, 4 page, 5 page is judgment. Today, judgment runs into hundreds of pages. Is it required? My point, I am speaking for myself, that there should be a crisp and short judgment,
To the point.
laying down the law, that's it. You don't have to go here and there and too much of that. That confuses everybody, lawyers as well as. Number two, now the situation has arisen that court delivers one judgment today, that very judgment comes in question before that very court, and the court, because the judges are different, don't agree with it. Seldom it is there, okay. But not, a judgment, which is delivered and has been followed by number of benches, then you reverse that judgment. Then what is that? As a lawyer, what am I to advise people? Whether this is good law or that law which now is come and all that. It's very difficult. And what is the fault of the litigants? And it's a very expensive proposition,
Yes,
You go, as you said, it involves decades in finally, whether finality reaches. Today, there is no finality. Even Supreme Court judgments are being reviewed time and again.
Yes,
and that is what now the judges, ex-retired judges also have been commenting on this. Please stop it. This is not required. There is a finality, good, bad, or ugly. Please accept it and proceed further.
What can be done at a systematic level to increase efficiency and reduce delays? Because delays can also be on account of efficiency, on account of too much of work, on account of too much of cases. There's so many factors. But we have to reduce the delays, right?
Yeah. I think two major players involved are the lawyers and the judges in this. If service conditions are provided better and environment is created, and biggest thing is if I am true to myself, that I have to do my job as a lawyer, that's it. But if I indulge into or I sway from aspect to some other, that is where the problem lies. But as a lawyer, I can only do is whatever my understanding of law on the case is, I will do my best. Put it. I may lose, I may win. That is not in my hand, and it doesn't bother me also. So long I am satisfied that I have put in my best, and that's it. Judiciary is, there to guide, to understand. The judiciary is, there, the judges are also under very great strain because they have to work. Now, if you see, the judges come to court after they have to read hundreds of files in the chamber, in the home, before they come to court to hear the cases. They are ready with the cases. Because in Supreme Court, if you see, when there is a miscellaneous case, there are a large number of cases and the judges have to read them. I really appreciate that aspect. They read them, they come prepared, and then it takes time, no time, they can dispose it off and all that. So I think if we work on the service conditions and all, if we provide them better facilities and more benefits and all that, lawyers are also, in the faculty of law, when they are studying law, they are trained in such a manner. Their training should be, such which all these aspects are provided, and then, the system can improve. I only hope it can.
Wow. Do you believe legal literacy should be integral part of the school curriculums so that citizens understand their rights and duties better?
In fact, this aspect starts from the very beginning of a child. When you go to school, there is a discipline. There are certain rules and regulations which you have to follow. This is what is the rules and so as you grow up, then the intensity of these rules and regulations, which may be in terms of the legal system, should definitely be taught there and all that. But not in that elaborate manner and all that. But yes, definitely indirectly or directly or by moot courts or by something and all that. These things should go. And I think it's definitely required.
It's required, yes. If you were to recommend 3 priorities to reform the present system for a stronger judiciary, what would be those 3 factors would be?
I think instead of 3, I'll say 1. And that is, I must be true to myself as a lawyer. Because if I can deliver, my brief properly, because these judges are among the lawyers like me, they become judges. So if I am true to myself and I am doing my job sincerely, and then when you become a judge, you carry this with you on the bench. Mm-hmm. But if while doing as a lawyer, I am not good, I am hanky-panky here there, then this can't be read when it goes there. If we can improve ourselves, integrity and everything, we put in our best in our brief, our case. Similarly, that's why I say if you can do this, that is the best thing to happen, and this can take care of everything.
That means if reforms are there, or if people understand and true to themselves, and things change, and change for better, what we have suggested, or even what the government of India and judicial system is also working on, basically to reforms, right? To have a better system. If these are implemented, what do you think the judiciary would be, or the country would be after 10 to 15 years?
As a lawyer, I am saying, what reforms? We don't spell out what reforms, Okay. We simply talk reforms. Reforms are, as I said in the beginning also, that bring the things, sincerity. Reforms kya hai? Because judges ka scope will not be changed. The scope of the judiciary is the same, the scope of the lawyer is the same. I have to, bring in myself in a situation, where I can, that is the reform. If I am dishonest to my profession, what kind of reform there? What will do? The client will suffer. Yeah. That's all, that.
True.
So reforms, I agree with you, but please come out, spell out what kind of reform what do you mean by reforms, and how can we work on that? First, what is the reform you want? Then only you can come see how to improve on it.
Right.
So we simply talk about reforms. Judicial appointment of judges system should be abolished. It should be this way or that way and all that. Nothing on that. We had earlier system. We have this system that was being criticized. This is being criticized. Where do we go? Third system comes. That will also face the same.
What does a normal common man needs? Only one thing. If there is a problem, we go to the court in the time-bound manner. The court decides. Today, there is no time limit. People sell it's like, I was talking to somebody, if they have a case, they go home and sell their jewelry, sell their land, sell their everything to come back. And after 20 years or 30 years, when they have sold everything, as luck would have it, the case is not decided in their favor. It's like cancer. So that's what I'm saying. We have to do something about it so that the common man feels comfortable going to the court and has a respect.
Again, you are saying is very right, but it is not being done.
It is not.
Not only this, I tell you, there are certain provisions which provide that this particular cases have to be decided within this period. That period is not followed. despite the fact it is there in the provision that it has to be done within that.
That is
what to do.
That's unfortunate.
Then the question is, then the system comes under criticism.
Yes.
Then the persons who are implementing the system must come under criticism, definitely, because a duty has been passed upon them that you have to perform this duty in this particular manner, and if you are still not doing it, then I think some action should be taken. Definitely, I am for that.
So, last thing, what message would you like to give it to the young lawyers who want to contribute to nation building through legal profession?
If you go back to your independence struggle, it is the lawyers. If you go post-independence, it is the lawyers. So the lawyers play the most important role in the making of a nation. As a young lawyer, I will not tell you, work very hard, be sincere, and this will be. That goes without saying. But practical aspect has to be taken into consideration. That when the lawyer comes in the profession initially, you must do one thing, must do justice with your case. Whatever case is given to you, please prepare it very thoroughly. And once you are prepared, deliver it in whatever manner you think is the best. You should be very sincere. Work very hard. This profession is very demanding initially. Let me tell you one thing. Earn your name by working very hard, and then your name will earn for you. Mind it, once you establish a name, but you can't establish a name unless you have worked hard and achieved that height. Once you do that, then कुछ नहीं करना पड़ता हमको. नाम है Vinay Bhasin is there, let's go. Whether I am doing it or not, won't that. But I would say that you have to, when you achieve that also. But I am just giving you that way because the sky is the limit for in this profession. There's nothing, no other profession as good as this legal profession. You are in velvet position. Whether it is industrialist, whether any politician, whether any comes to you for help, for your assistance and all that. So don't you feel proud about it? Definitely, I say. So therefore, please be sincere to your brief, work hard, and then everything is there.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for taking us through the entire process, and thank you for your valuable time. You are on a holiday in Goa, and thank you so much for sparing your time and coming to us and sharing your wonderful thoughts.
But I must thank you also that you are, as I said in the beginning, I have been watching your programs and all that. You are doing a wonderful job, and I think it will definitely contribute to your questions which you have put to me in solving those things. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Vinay, for coming and sharing your wisdom on how a robust judicial system can strengthen not just courts, but the entire community and the nation. Countries grow when its citizens feel protected, respected, and heard. And in today's conversation, it reminds us that justice is not a legal term, it's a foundation of hope, confidence for every Indian. Ladies and gentlemen, if you believe in stronger India and more empowered society and future where justice is accessible to all, please do like, share and subscribe the podcast. Together, let's celebrate stories that can change lives. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.